What is up guys, Farhan here and welcome back to another ultimate review. This is the review of the Peugeot XP400. Huge thanks to Raceworks for loaning me this bike for the review. So welcome back to Madini, probably the best place to do a bike review because there's less traffic here and nothing much around. This is the Peugeot XP400. I've been getting a lot of requests to do a review of this bike. Personally, after riding it for 2 days, I'm quite nervous because there's a lot of features in this bike and hopefully I am able to cover them all. But damn guys, you have to get a look at this design. It's very beautiful. All over the world, the XP400 is sold out, even in Singapore. And Raceworks has informed me that it will take a while for new stocks to come in. So Peugeot needed to meet the worldwide demand. Well, it will probably be a while when there's a brand new Peugeot XP400 being registered. Okay, so it's a bit heavy, 231 kilograms, probably even heavier than some of the class 2 bikes. But if you ask me, with its weight, it helps with the stability lah. Later when I'm riding, I will share you guys my feedback on the bike. 13.3 litre fuel tank with a projected consumption of 26 to 27 kilometers per litre. So if you ask me, a pretty standard lah for a class 2A. So let's start her up. There's an ignition dial over here. Press the ignition dial in, then you will see a blue ring. Twist it to the right side and you will see the combination of TFT and analog display coming to life. And the startup animation looks pretty good. Press hand on brake, press the starter and whew. Another thing about this scooter is when usually if you put the side stand down, the engine is gonna auto cut off. But for this bike, you put the side stand down, the engine doesn't cut off. And when you try to squeeze in the throttle, it doesn't move at all. I have to comment that the engine is kind of loud, but for me it doesn't bother me too much. But when I'm pillaning my wife, she says the engine is kind of loud. Right, so side stand up. Okay, let's get going. Whew. Okay, so right off the bat, the handling wise, when I first rode it, it feels kind of boaty. The suspension is really good, like all those minor bumps and road imperfections, road markings and all that. It absorbs pretty well, provides a nice comfortable ride. But if you're going through a very rough road with very deep potholes and all that, it feels like a normal scooter lah. But overall I feel the suspension is pretty good on this. Acceleration wise, off the line feels pretty sluggish, kind of like you're riding a 2-wheel scooter. But once you get up there, the low to mid-range torque is actually pretty good, and it's pretty stable that you don't feel that you're going fast at all. Sekali you riding, you learn at a speed of already 110. So it's really that comfortable, alright. And I just love this nice looking dash over here. So when you're leaning into the corner, need to be careful quite a bit lah, because as I've said, it feels really boaty. So I think you tend to oversteer too much. But if you ask me, it's really something you need to get used to lah. And after riding it for quite a while, I feel it's okay, it doesn't bother me too much. When you ride this bike right off the bat, you need to get comfortable with the bike first, just get used to it, and after that slowly adapt to it. It's pretty much fine. Took me 2 days. I wouldn't say it's bad, I would say that you need to get adjusted to it. That's all. Not bad, not too bad. Personally, I'm having fun on this bike. I mean, the fun factor on it is really awesome. Brakes, dual channel ABS, 2 rotors and calipers in the front, 1 in the rear. So the stopping power is very much there for you. City riding, if you ask me, no issues. Start-stop traffic, lane splitting. I mean, I love the profile on this. You're able to lane split pretty easily on it. I personally feel that the XP400 is much more suited or comfortable for the highways. It's meant to go the long distances. That's what this bike is built for. So I feel that long stretches of highway is much more suited lah. Can get a bit cumbersome in city traffic, but if you ask me once again when you get adapted to it, it doesn't really bother you. It's just the little things that I'm comparing it when I'm riding other scooters. And on the road, when you're riding this bike, right, you get a lot of stares. The past 2 days when I was with this bike, I get people like turning heads, and at the traffic light, all the riders are looking at you. So this bike is really well designed. People will be like wondering, what the hell is this, you know? Is this an XADV or what? So fuel consumption, still got a range of 182 kilometers after riding it around for 2 days yesterday. So pretty good mileage I'm getting.
Marketed as a scooter with SUV characteristics, the Peugeot XP400 is a premium offering from the French manufacturer. It is inspired by its own line of automobiles with innovations in design, functionality, and technology. With its rugged styling and off-road capability, the XP400 is also designed with adventure and long-distance travel in mind, a trend introduced for some time with Honda's ADV line of scooters. Engine is a 400cc liquid-cooled single-cylinder 4-stroke SOHC with power motion, electronic fuel injection, and an automatic CVT transmission. So before we get started with the static review of the Peugeot XP400, I'm gonna do a bit of explaining. So here with me I have is the GT variation. Reportedly this version is the off-road version. There's also the Allure variation, which is more of a road version, and the names itself, they're adapted from Peugeot's own variation on its line of cars. The main differences between the two is that the Allure actually uses cast alloy rims, while the GT has spoke rims. Other than that, it's more of an appearance package, like minor differences. On the Allure, the windscreen is clear, while on the GT, it's a smoke windscreen. And also, there's exclusive colors for each of the variations as well. Right guys, so to start off, we come to the riding posture. Okay, so sitting on this bike right now, it's kind of cramped, especially in the leg area. This is due to the fact that the ground clearance itself is slightly higher than most of the automatic scooters out there. For me, at first, it can get a bit squeezy, but after riding it for a while, you get used to it, and it's actually very comfortable. And yeah, of course, you're sitting upright, sitting on a chair, but as with riding all scooters, you tend to hunch your back after riding for a while, so do straighten your back from time to time. And I can also go back here, nearer to the pillion area, and just cruise and chill. My arms are stretched out. You can position your legs here, anywhere long distance. I think no issues. I really like the riding posture on this lah. So at the ride height of 81.3 cm, I'm 165. As you can see, thanks to the wide nature of the seat and the bodywork, I'm tiptoeing quite a bit lah. And also it doesn't help that it weighs 231 kg. So standing on the bike like this, it can get a bit heavy lah, especially for shorter riders. If they're struggling, they need to get used to the bike lah. The representative of Raceworks, they've informed me that because of that, you're able to start the bike with the side stand down, so that they can accommodate to shorter riders who are getting on the bike and adjusting themselves first. And also, I'm not sure if you can see this, but the leaning angle for the XP400 is slightly lean in than other scooters. So once again, it's to accommodate shorter riders that are getting up on the bike lah. So up next, we come to the design. And obviously, from the general outlook itself, as you can see, is clearly inspired by the Honda XADV with its aggressive, rugged, and sharp look with the off-road appearance. I actually cannot verify these sources, but there have been rumors going around saying that the design team behind the XP400 is also the same design team that designed the XADV as well, which explains the similarities. Peugeot says that they took inspiration from the functionality and design of SUV cars. Very chunky and bulky, lots of lines and edges. Adventure beat is present. Love that there's a little slit in the bodywork that show off the cross-mounted rear monoshock. Large dual headlights evoke a sporty feel. The badging on the XP400 is on a whole new level. Individual plastic lettering, not decals. Premium feeling, and bringing in the car elements to the XP400 lah. And it's a head turner. Any rider that you pass by or stop next to will automatically look at the bike and their eyes will be glued to it lah. For the GT variation, once again, it comes in spoke rims and also semi-off-road tires. I think both variations come with semi-off-road tires. And additionally, for the GT, the difference is on the Allure, forks are black in color, while on the GT is gold. And by default, this bike does not come with any crash guard, but the guys at Raceworks say that they've added in the crash guard to show that the bike has some accessories to it lah. So another design element that by default this bike comes in is that they include a rear wheel guard, which I'm not really too keen because the indicators and the license plate is also by default on the rear wheel guard lah. I wish they put it together with the tail light instead, but it is what it is. As you can see, the license plate is also damaged due to the license plate being so low to the ground. Yeah, maybe somebody must have hit it. This is the result of the license plate being so low. At the checkpoints, when you're crossing the border, all the kapchais, they're definitely gonna attack your license plates. And also to add on, the rear mudguard is also quite long, so this is to make sure that no mud or water hits your back while you're doing heavy off-roading with the bike. Right, so up next we come to the handlebar controls and the gauge cluster. So let's start off with the handlebar, which I love. Okay, usually adventure scooters are like this. It's a naked handlebar, easier for you to mount accessories like your Insta360, phone holder. Yeah, and also the bar here, the bar risers over here. I'm not sure what this is called, but I think this is the bar, something that holds the handlebar in place lah. They're actually adjustable. Okay, so the bracket, you can actually switch them around and make the handlebar come closer to you, and also adjust accordingly. And they are naturally high like this. It really adds to the functionality and the personalization of the 400 XP. But I wish it comes in chrome instead of black. But hey, some people like black. Hitam itu premium apa?
Ingat, hitam itu premium.
Okay, so for the handlebar controls, we got the high beam, low beam, signal indicators, horn, exit button. The exit button is to control the TFT display. We'll get to that in a bit. And the right handlebar control, we got the hazard, the starter and kill switch combined, and select button to control the TFT display. Over here, the lighting button.
By default, the daytime running lights is always turned on. If you switch on the light switch, as they call it, this is the light switch. It is very bright. And take note that this is the low beam, so it won't bother the vehicle in front of you, you know. This is the high beam. So you can see the light and the street signs being reflected back at me. So back to the low beam and switching off the light switch, and we're back to the daytime running lights again.
Over here we have the underseat storage button and the gas cap, and also the brake levers, left and right. Both of them are adjustable to your liking, of course. And up next we come to the gauge cluster. For the gauge cluster, as you can see, the design wise, the overall outlook is inspired from an automobile. Usually I do not see this combination on motorcycles, because usually manufacturers would do something like a full analog or a full TFT, and even if there's a combination, usually it's not a TFT but an LCD display instead. So Peugeot has done analog and a TFT combined. So you can see when I turn it on, the startup animation comes to life, and wow, look at this, press on, brake and start. And I also love that the startup animation blends with the format of the TFT display. Unfortunately, you cannot configure the TFT display itself. This is the only design you'll get, but there is a customization that I really love. I'm going to get to that in a bit. Right, so in the circles themselves, they shows the fuel gauge and the temperature, in which if you were to long press the exit or select buttons on the handlebar controls, it will lead you to the menus to customize and toggle the features. I will come back to that in a bit. So within the TFT display itself, in the default display, it shows the date, the time, temperature, voltmeter, odometer, average fuel consumption, range, and trip meter. So for the menu, okay, once again, lots of customization. Long pressing the exit button, you can customize the features of the scooter lah. Scrolling down the menu, we got language, trip. Trip is to reset the trip meter. Settings, under the settings menu, we got the TCS, the traction control itself. We got mode 1, mode 2, and to turn it off, to deactivate. I'm not sure what the differences are between mode 1 and mode 2, but it works. Maintenance schedule, you can either reset or adjust accordingly. And personalization, okay, so this is my favorite menu of all. Once again, you cannot adjust on how the format of the TFT display works, but you can actually adjust the colors accordingly. So there's 3 options, okay, blue, red and golden. Personally, I love blue. But I also like red, yeah. Not too keen on the golden one though. But our representative at Raceworks, he likes the red one because if everything gets low, like for example you got low fuel, right, it will actually change to yellow. And if you long press the select button, you're gonna see the phone and navigation connectivity of the bike lah. Okay, so there's message, there's call, there's Bluetooth and navigation. So there's turn-by-turn navigation on this bike, and you actually need to use the app lah, which is the Peugeot iConnect app. And you can link your phone and the bike. And of course, we're not going to dwell into this because this is going to make this video much longer. If you ask me, they could have put in a bigger TFT display. They can forego the analog. In fact, the speedometer is also repeated on the TFT display. Interestingly, the speedometer itself, it reads in kilometers per hour and also miles per hour. Like we're going to different countries, for example, like Canada and USA, you don't need to adjust to miles per hour or kilometers per hour accordingly lah. So above the Peugeot badging, there's the warning lights above lah, and also the hazard indicators. There's a lot of information to take in. Hopefully I covered them all.
Additionally, there's also a running light that surrounds the gauge cluster, which to me looks pretty sweet. And after shutting off the bike, that running light will actually shut off 20 seconds later, so do take note of that lah.
So as with a scooter, you can definitely expect the riding technology and the conveniences that usually come with it lah. So just to list a few, keyless transponder, full LED lighting all around, dual channel ABS paired with 3 disc brakes, 2 in front, 1 in the rear. The suspension is very unique on this scooter in particular. Okay, inverted forks in the front and a cross-mount rear monoshock. A usually prominent feature on off-road bikes, and they managed to squeeze inside this adventure scooter right here lah. And of course, with that provides a nice, comfortable ride down the minor bumps and road imperfections. 5-inch color TFT gauge cluster paired with analog speedometer and tachometer, hazard lights, USB-A charging port under the pillion and the storage cubby, and traction control, which can be toggled on and off. So up next we come to the storage, and it's divided into 3 parts. Okay, so first part over here is a small storage cubby in between the rider's seat. Okay, so just press over here and there's a small storage. I think not enough for you to put your phone also. For me, I just leave the key inside here lah. And this is not lockable while the bike is turned on. And we got underseat storage. So interestingly, the way it opens is that there's a button over here. Press it and it automatically comes up. It's an electronic lock, by the way. There's the main underseat storage, and also underneath the pillion seat there's a storage cubby over here. Okay, so first we come to the main underseat storage, which is pretty deep, pretty huge, but unfortunately I have tried myself. You cannot fit a full face helmet, you cannot fit an open face helmet. Certainly this one, a half face helmet, can fit in lah. Which is pretty sad because in the reviews online they say that you can put in a full face helmet, but I tried and I cannot fit my Showroom in there. I cannot even fit the tracks in there. So and for this particular demo bike, it's lined with some velvet to protect your stuff and the underseat storage lah. Okay, so for the storage cubby over here, quite deep. There's a USB-A port for you to charge your phone. Honestly speaking, I would love it if they actually put the storage cubby in front as opposed to underneath the pillion. At least you can, access your phone or grab your passport or whatever items you need in hand when you're riding. I really love the way it opens. I mean, the saddle splits into 2 and you can access both underseat storage. Unfortunately, this one is not held up by anything, but this one is held up, yeah. The way the underseat storage opens up, Feels like a hatchback kind of thing. And also, I don't think this is an important point, but the opening of the seat, you can actually hear the motor running while you open the unseat storage. So take a listen. Similar to modern era Vespa scooters as well. Okay, so horn check for the Peugeot XP400. Very loud, kind of high pitch. Definitely will alert the drivers around you. So there's two colors for the GT offering. So the one being reviewed right now is Snow White, and the other color is Shark Grey. The Aurora comes in Aurora Satin Allure and Matte Black Allure. Right guys, so up next we come to the colors, and for the GT variation there's two colors. Personally I prefer the white one because of the orange accents because I love orange. So up next we come to the price. Okay, so according to Raceworks, the official distributor for the Peugeot XP400 is $20,000. Machine is definitely on the high side, and they're providing 2-year warranty, unlimited mileage.
The low to mid-range top is pretty good. Damn. Overall, I feel that it's very different from all of the other scooters that I've been riding. S-Max, Forza, the Kimco scooters, even SYM scooters. This offering for Peugeot, it feels different, feels very refreshing. It doesn't feel like a Japanese scooter at all. It feels as if you're riding a Continental scooter. It has that Continental characteristics that usually only Continental scooters would have lah. I took a wrong turn. So we make a U-turn right here. Maybe the Europeans, they love to ride cumbersome things. Oh, not too shabby. Going through the rough patch just now. Oh, so comfortable. Okay, so merging lane. We got a bunch of regulators just before the roundabout up ahead. Oh man, so comfortable. You do feel the bumps, but it's slightly, it's not as much as on the rest of the authentic scooters, where, you know, for scooters I feel the suspension, the shocks, they're horrible, given that the engine is mounted to the swing arm. But for this, because of the shocks, kind of like an off-road kind of suspension setup, it provides that riding comfort. And the suspension absorbs those minor little bumps pretty well. Not to forget the riding tech, the riding features on this. Phone connectivity is available, turn-by-turn navigation, and there's a whole lot of features that you can change. Once again, I appreciate the bike's stability thanks to its weight. It can get kind of boaty like, as you're leaning into the corners. Okay, so let's whack this bike a bit. So reportedly the top speed is 137 kilometers. But I did whack this bike up to 140 yesterday. That's probably how fast I'm brave enough to go with it lah. Okay, so the max speed is 142. I cannot go more than that. It would be nice if we can go slightly faster on a clear highway. The wind resistance is kind of bad because the windshield is kind of low. I wish they have like an accessory, you know, for taller windshield. Yeah, I can definitely feel the wind in your face and your body right now. Highway, no problem like, if you ask me. But the top end at 142, meh. But it's okay. I mean, it's a scooter. Some people don't go beyond 130. Like myself, I would be afraid to go above 140. But at that speed, at the top end over there, it is very stable. Unlike the Zontes 350D, at 140 it gets kind of shaky. I have spoken to them about that. They need to put some balances on the bike. But this one, because of the weights, the natural heavy weight of the XP400, it's perfectly fine.
I've had the Peugeot XP400 for 5 days now. Overall, I thought it's a very awesome scooter. There's definitely that fun factor that this bike has compared to most of the automatic scooters that I've ever reviewed before, excluding the XADV of course. This is really an adventure scooter. It's really in its name, it's really in its breed and a category. Great performance and acceleration, smooth engine and great suspension, provides a comfortable riding experience. If you ask me, I don't mind if the initial launch is sluggish, but the low to mid range is very awesome on it. Smooth engine and great suspension provides a comfortable riding experience. The relevant riding tech and features are all available. Modern and rugged styling that's gonna make you the center of attention. And the top of the parking lot, of course. Shortcomings, I feel small underseat storage. I mean, they could have done better. And the claims that this underseat storage can fit a full face helmet is debunked and dubious, I feel. Engine is also a little loud compared to most of the other automatic scooters out there. But for me, I don't really mind lah. And quite expensive at 20k machine price. It's quite steep. Maybe Peugeot wants to bring it into the leagues of BMW, maybe Aprilia, but I think Continental scooters generally is around that price range. Besides, it's made in France. There's no outsourcing going on here. Probably the wages are higher over there lah. It trickles down to the customers as well. Let's face it, riders may be skeptical of Peugeot, as it's not widely known. This is in similar leagues to Kymco, SYM. I would say its closest competition is the BMW C400 GT. Looking at its features and specs wise, I feel that the machine itself, it's flashy, but at the same time versatile. Usually flashy motorcycles, they'll compromise on versatility and practicality lah. I'm looking at you, Harley Davidson. And also comparing with the Honda ADV350, which I feel that is somewhat in the similar category, which is basically a reskin Forza. This XP400 is fresh from the ground up. Everything on it is all Peugeot. The XP400 is an adventure class 2A scooter like no other, I feel. Also, I understand there may be skeptics with the Peugeot motorcycles brand as well, but so far it's been positive response with the three-wheeler Metropolis that's been out in the market for quite some time. And as you guys know, there is actually the XP400's cousin, they share the same engine. Whatever it is, from my conversation with Raceworks, they have extensively tested this machine themselves, living it out in the open sun and rain for days, putting the biggest box they could find if it can handle the extra weight. A lot of hands has been through this demo bike, including me. So once again, huge thanks to Raceworks, the official distributor for Peugeot motorcycles in Singapore, for kindly lending me this bike. I mean, this is really an anticipated machine and I feel very honoured to be doing a full ultimate review on it. That's it for the vlog and we'll see you in the next one.